Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as Roix, and I'm joined by my friends and co-hosts.
Rowan, you may know me as Mocha, and for the first time ever, I'm stealing someone else's team. Ooh. Completely.
And this is Shelby. You probably know me as Captain Yanova, and I'm back. I guess I'm bringing Dozo because I keep going back to it.
You never jumped off the Dozo train.
I have not.
Yep. Been a lifetime passenger there.
You Dozo bozo. You.
Yeah, I can't. I try other things. I'm like, oh, this feels all right. Then I'm like, man, I wish I had
can
Dozo
bring the shirt
here
for you if you want. Actually, I'm considering wearing the shirt just to throw people off. Like, they're going to sit in front of me. They're going to see the Dozo Bozo shirt. And I'm like, all right, I'm like mentally prepped for a 40-round game. And they're like, nah, hyper offense. Eat it.
That could be. That could work. You're bringing someone else's team entirely?
Yeah, I'm bringing Kyle Livinghouse's team. It's, you've seen it, the Mousehold support
There's
thing.
A handful of support Mousehold going on.
Okay, so it's Dragonite, Volcarona, Mousehold, Goldango, and then the Bundle Tusk core. And
that is a fun
It's
team,
a lot of fun.
actually.
I think like half the reason is I've been very busy with real life stuff, and I wanted to run hyper offense because honestly I thought that it would be really cool to just feel like, okay, you're gonna make me play 9 or 10 rounds, that's fine. I'm going to finish all my games in 40 seconds. I'll either win or lose.
See that I've been considering
I won't be tired
that
at all. Yeah,
I have been considering that too.
But to do that well, you really need to plan your lines out, and I do not have the time in real life. And this team is more kind of game sense. It's like just bulky, and you live like everything and like sweep in the end game. So that seems to be more my style for the lazy man who doesn't want to memorize his calcs. So.
Now I feel you on half of that. I'm taking my Orlando team, your Orlando team, and Gavin's current OCIC team, which we'll talk about here in a moment, I'm sure, smashing those together and seeing what fits with the spaghetti against the wall.
You brought Wave Crash. I have no more advice.
I did switch to Wave Crash and Mystic Water, and I'm foregoing Punching Glove for now.
Wave Crash is stupid on Palafin.
It's actually insane.
Like,
it is.
I'm telling you. My game plan into Garg was literally wave crash it in the rain and it will die, or do 99% is the calc like most of the time.
Yeah,
nice.
You don't resist it. Like it's like Behemoth Blade all over again.
Yeah, no, there's literally like I've seen like I had a lot of games where people would Terra to like defensively against it.
It doesn't work.
Still got O code.
The only thing I'm not doing is Terra Watering to get maximum damage.
And Gavin did for what it's worth. But he didn't have rain. No, he did have rain. He had Pelipper. Yeah,
He was rain and
Terra
Water.
Wave Crash in rain. Yeah, there's no
You're not living that.
like living that by any means. Yeah, and it's kind of you have to decide whether you want to ignore the Amoonguss Rage Powder or just be actually unreasonably powerful.
Yeah, it's a balance there, and I'm going towards ignoring the Rage Powder and ignoring a lot of electric moves.
It's a nice little safety wheel. I like to have it. Even apparently Gavin's good enough to not need it, but.
I'm not. I admit that I'm not. Anyway, all of that to say, listeners, we are super prepping, obviously, in the midst of it, for Knoxville, which is this weekend. By the time you're listening to this, we will hopefully have decided on a team, and we'll have packed our bags and are ready to leave to Knoxville in whatever capacity that is. Flying is mine. I'm not driving that far.
3 hours for me. 3 hour drive.
3 hours, same. Yeah, I'm driving up on the day of. Well, not the day of, on the Friday beforehand, but yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, so Knoxville's coming up, and that's really heavily influenced by the Oceania International Championships that were last weekend. We got to see basically the first kind of iteration of a meta this generation, which is really nice.
That is true.
Like a bunch of stuff from Orlando moving on into Oceania. I guess it's not like entirely true because we technically did have Liverpool after San Diego, but the thing about that was that everyone knew that Liverpool was the final Series 1 event ever. So instead of being like, I'm going to try something that I think is going to move things along, it was like, I need to do well in this event, and then this format is dead forever. So most people at Liverpool just took stuff that they already knew 100% was going to work, as opposed to like trying to develop something new.
Very different mentalities going into that than this.
Whereas like this is going to feed into Charlotte, into I think there's a couple other Fort Wayne is Series 2 as well, or is that
I think that's not
the rollover. Okay. Is Charlotte the last regional?
I think Charlotte is the last regional in Series 2.
Okay, so there are at least three regionals for it, and then
Yep, Mark.
A couple
doesn't count the ones
across
in other
the
countries,
pond
too.
too. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So Series 2 is definitely like, it's almost the first real format, which is sad because I think I preferred Series 1.
I wish Series 1 had more life to it.
Yeah, it needed it.
regardless of which one you like, it needed another month or two. Because like the first month wasn't real; it was people playing through the first game, like through the game.
Yep. So
I was too busy upset about frame rate to actually get into competitive at the time.
Well, speaking of that, we have patch notes. Which do you want to do that now, or I was going to bring that up later?
Why not? We can do. What do you say? Like patch notes and then OCIC?
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk that real quick. So they announced that I don't know a week or two ago. They said that they are going to actually patch Pokemon Scarlet and Violet version 1.2.0, baby. Which I guess is not the first patch they've given, of course, but this is a big one, and we have actual patch notes for it.
Yeah, so it seems like they're addressing performance at first by just removing models from the overworld, which is not what we were looking for, but it's at least something, right? It's like
makes sense.
Less laggy.
It does something.
Like it's a start, right? But it's like this
It's
thing
not
doesn't
the
work.
best.
So yeah,
Make it doesn't work great, so make it do less.
yeah, exactly.
So
not ideal, but you kind of hope that that's just like the stopgap. Is like we're gonna make this functional for now until we can like figure out how to actually optimize this, if they do it all. But we know DLC is on the way, so like I would imagine that you're gonna get your big actual functional patches with DLC.
right.
That makes sense.
Speaking of Pokemon Day, I think is next week.
So
I think this
Pokemon-
recording the week after Knoxville. So
Yes,
that
the
will probably
27th.
be the time you're gonna get your real announcements.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can have a discussion about that later for predictions if you want. I don't know, sometime in the episode. But yeah, as far as patch notes go, like Rowan said, taking out models for frame rate and a little bit of performance stuff. They make vague performance upgrade comments. I'm not gonna read all like 27 of these bullets.
Look at that.
They got some
but I think-
stuff like Terra Raid battles.
Yeah,
like
the big ones
performances
I
in
think
those.
are the raid
I
battles
don't think
and
I've
battle
played
stuff.
a raid battle since I beat the game.
I've done all the 7 stars, and those are stupid.
Yeah.
They've
they've been broken.
Not fun to me. I
No,
don't know what
like
it
it's
is.
literally just press buttons and just hope stuff works. Because like you'll watch HP bars just go up and down, and you're like,
Which they're addressing.
like
Yes.
it was a cute idea. I think like their heart was in the right place for this one, and like they felt like the Swish ones were kind of held back by people just having to wait forever for your teammates to take a turn, and they wanted something more like real time and like just in the heat of the battle, like you have and go kind of thing, right? Where you're just like, oh god, I need to get this HP bar down. But they kind of removed any strategic aspect beyond the like the building. Like people definitely, from what I've seen on Twitter at least, they put together specific sets to handle
Yes.
like anything that can happen in the 7-star raid. I think that's really cool. I think that's like even a gateway drug into people looking into competitive once they see like all of the customization options open just to handle like one specific boss mon, let alone an entire team, and like maybe they'll get in the door of either Smogon or VGC, and that'd be awesome.
That's a good
like,
point. Hadn't thought
beyond
about
that, there's no strategic thinking once you're in the battles. Like I hit my setup
Yeah.
move, I hit my support. Maybe you hit screens or something, and then you mash attack and pray to God, right? Like,
Yeah, that's
there's the shouts too, I guess, but like that's still like not in reaction to anything or like trying to predict anything. It's just like now is the time when I press my thing.
Yep. Which is fine, I think, kind of for the raid battles though, just because of what it is. It's a PvE kind of thing, you know. It's just grinding, you know.
yeah, it is.
It's your RPG grind.
It's
Yeah,
your like classic RPG endgame boss type
because
stuff, but
it's because it's turn based, I guess. So like y'all know about my Guild Wars addiction. It's awful, and like there's a lot of competitive. There's 2 major competitive game modes in there, and I don't really touch them. I do the PvE side for the most part on that, but PvE is hard in this game. Like at least in the end game, like there are definitely ways to make things skillful on the PvE end, even if it is like somewhat choreographed. It's like you can make people strategize and have to make difficult decisions in the moment, and them removing the turn-based thing like kind of eliminates all of that.
But
Yeah.
With as many Terra shards and how hard it is to like get those
Maybe
though,
we
like
don't want it to be hard.
yeah, I don't want it to be hard. I want it to be as easy as possible. Like
What if you made it genuinely engaging and challenging and just gave 50 shards per
Oh,
win.
see, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with that.
If
you
it
actually
was
gave
fun
me,
with good rewards, yeah.
yeah, if I
Well,
only had to
want
do
both,
like,
ideally.
if I could do 6 terror raids and have enough shards to do a whole team.
Your standards are low. It should be 1 terror raid and have enough. Oh, for a whole team.
For a
For a whole team, yeah.
Fair,
one per
okay.
mon, one per mon.
No,
Like, I'd be
that-
happy.
That would be fair. I'd be on board with that too.
If terror raids were fun and gave good rewards, I'd do them. They are not fun and they don't give good
No,
rewards.
and it's so annoying to connect on like the online feature doesn't work either.
It's-
Like you go to
and
search
the worst
for
thing is it's still better than Swish. Like at least you can find them to some degree. Like, oh my
sometimes
God.
every time I go onto the like looking for like a just random raids, like it never works. I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes just waiting.
Right. Oh, because I've only gone online for like randos with 7 stars, and those are always churning through. So
Or like I'll sit there for a couple minutes and it's like, oh, you can't join this raid battle. I'm like,
I've seen that.
thanks. And it
Granted,
just
I've seen that
be a
for the-
cycle.
I've seen that for the Charizard raid like an hour and a half after it's supposed to end, so I'm not that upset by that one. But yes, I have seen that screen at least.
Yeah.
But so raids will in general get better. Fins will act the way they're expect to. HP gauges will make sense. Moves will actually hit. Communications will be better. I think that covers everything.
Yeah.
For battles, Zoroark is hard.
Yeah. So when we say battles, we mean in theory balance, but like mostly
no,
it's
all-
mostly just Zoroark, isn't it?
It's mostly Zoroark and Dondozo's nerf, but it's really make the game work the way we all know it's supposed to work.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what all these patches are. All these bullet points.
Yeah.
Which
So
just
basically,
means-
it was multiple bugs with Zoroark where, like, what was it? So if it's terastallized and disguised as another mon via its illusion ability, it can be identified as a Zoroark by using check target. Okay, so there were like that's a buff to Zoroark to some degree,
Yeah.
and that you shouldn't be able to tell it by just looking
Yeah.
at it in the check target screen. But I think the big thing from this, apart from literal bug fixes, you said nerf with air quotes, and I to some degree agree, but like effectively it's a nerf because we've been playing a lot of events with Dozo the way it is, and Dozo is obviously a really just very vital part of the meta at this
Yes.
point. Like you
Yeah.
can't ignore it. So what happened is that prior to this patch, which is it out yet?
no,
No.
Okay.
no. It is. It's coming out after Knoxville.
It's
okay.
probably coming with
It's
Pokemon
probably
Day.
Monday. It's probably Pokemon Day.
Okay. So the way anybody who's not initiated to this prior to this patch, i.e. now at least, Dozo will still get a boost using Order Up even if it attacks into something that is protecting, which is crazy. It's really, really powerful. There's like very few secondary effects in the game, maybe no secondary effects in the game that activate upon hitting Protect. Maybe like Hyper Voice Throat Spray or something, you probably
No,
still get the
nope.
boost. No?
Nope.
If
Doesn't?
both mons protect, you don't get it?
Nope.
Interesting. Yeah,
Because
okay.
the move basically essentially fails. So
It's,
there's
negated. It's not like hitting a
Like-
wall. It's literally not happening.
Yeah, it's like I mean, like high jump kick is something that does, but it's negative.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I guess it makes sense too because like Max Guard in last gen would cause the secondary effect of the max move to not trigger.
Yep.
Like if you flared
Yes.
into a Max Guard, you wouldn't get the sun and so on. So yeah. Anyway, they're changing that to be more consistent with the rest of the game. So now if you order up into a Protect, you get nothing, which
Does that
is how it should be.
Does that
Yes.
also work for like order up into a flying mon or
Yes.
a digging mon or something? It would still go off.
Yes. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, and I guess not anymore. They don't specify that, but I would imagine.
They
the way
just
it's
said, for
worded,
example, yeah.
Yeah, it's generic enough to be like when the move should have been negated.
For what it's worth, like this is a nerf. It is a negative change to how Dozo functions, but it does not by any means make Dozo bad. Dozo
No.
was good in Series 1.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's-
It is still
it's-
good in Series 2.
yeah.
It will probably be good until we get restricted mons, if I have to.
It's also expected.
honest.
It's the way it should have been from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I was very surprised when I first discovered that play, and I was like, "Wait, why did I get a boost? Like, they protected."
That was part of why I was running it early on in Series 1. It's like, this is insane. But yeah,
But that's a fix that should have been done.
That should have been fixed in 1.1, but eh.
Yeah.
Also, Destiny Bond doesn't work with terastallization. Apparently.
Which did not know that.
Nope.
But for the user, it's if the
the
user terras
Yeah.
and uses Destiny Bond, it'll fail. I thought it was like by the power of Dynamax, this doesn't affect you,
Yeah.
the kind of thing they had
No.
with last gen.
Destiny
And
Bond
no.
doesn't work through crystals. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's weird that was like causing it to fail, but terrestrializing, I guess, though, just screws a lot of the coding and mechanics up.
Yeah.
The thing is that they're reusing an engine between every generation, right? So they're not making a brand new system for any of this stuff. They're tacking on their new ideas.
Yeah, and
into
now
existing code, and so it inevitably just becomes messy as hell. Like,
Yep.
There's a lot of like weird things that should have been there. Granted, all this is like, or most of this is terrestrialization being tacked on, and then just the way that Tatsugiri stops existing in a battle, right? So that's it. It is weird. I'm curious to know how much of this is, I don't know, spaghetti code. If we want to go down that route, that wounds me as a software engineer to hear, or
I mean, probably. I
Tacking
hate to
stuff
say,
on.
like, look, you write code well if you have the time. If you are told this has to be out yesterday, then you write whatever works.
that's true. that is very
works.
true.
Yeah.
Hey, it has
Whatever
worked
passes
It
you
has
in.
for
worked.
4
Yes.
months.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this does raise an interesting question, though, right? Is that, like, you can call it a nerf or a bug fix or whatever, but it does show that they are willing to change really vital things to competitive
Yes.
midway through a generation. I think this is the first time they've ever done that. Like, they have
I was
done-
thinking about that from earlier. It happened in Sword and Shield. It wasn't as big as like this, but remember, I think it was on the preview screen. You could tell if they were bringing
Oh, yeah.
Zacian crowned or not.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Xerneas was too. Like you could tell.
yeah,
like,
based on the sprite, yeah.
yeah, by the
Which is
sprite
another-
whenever you check their team.
Which is another good example of, like, not only just fixing things to competitive mid-season or mid-game, but bug fixes when they had to do something specific for that gen's mechanic, gimmick,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Which all this
So-
is.
Anyway, I guess, like, what I'm getting at here is that, like, do we think there will be more? And I think the answer might be yes. Like, the
I
big
want-
one.
I want them to do things. I'm more afraid that it's going to continue to, because every example we've given so far is, this is how it should have worked.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I want to talk about Indeedee Trick Room because it's absurd and it's still in
Yes.
the game.
That's fair.
And it's seriously I don't want to say anything just assuming everybody knows what we're talking about, but this is a pretty common archetype at this point. Anyway, Indeedee female is not supposed to learn Trick Room. That's supposed to be Indeedee male's thing. Indeedee female is supposed to get Follow Me as the counterpart. They both get a very powerful support move.
Yes.
In this gen, there was a bug where even though Indeedee female cannot learn Trick Room by normal means, you can catch one in a Terra raid that gets it because whoever coded the movesets for Terra raid mons did not bother to check gender because in 99% of cases it doesn't matter. In more than 99%, there's over 1,000 mons now. And
That's true.
0.1% of cases it matters. So yeah, it's kind of wild. Like having Trick Room on the redirector is actually insane. Like you can do so much. You can have this like super bulky support mon that's supposed to redirect away, and then actually no, just mind game this game of the set. I'm going to protect my attacking mon, and the support mon's going to click Trick Room this time. Like Hatterene doesn't even have to risk itself, or Armor Rouge or whatever.
I mean,
right?
the big one is Armor Rouge and Indeedee because they can both have Trick Room and they both
Exactly.
have answers
You're-
for what would negate Trick Room.
There are very few things in the game that like truly lock that core down. Like there are a handful. I think like Tyranitar is getting its resurgence these days because it handles that core so well, whether you click Trick Room or not. But you can't just say, okay, run T-Tar and my thing is fine because of that, right? Like, and there are other answers, obviously. I've definitely found my own for it, but like if you're going to fix one bug that actually affects balance, you should fix them all.
That's true. I do think the weird thing though is that they've already come out and said, hey, Indeedee
legal.
female Trick Room is legal.
I mean, they
So-
had to, right? Because the
Yes.
mon is legal as far as the game knows. So
Yeah.
you're going to have a big patch to change that.
And that's
maybe
a-
that means
that-
DLC.
And I feel like that's a hard thing too. Like I guess you could prevent it from online play. You could just code it as an illegal move on it because that's what
Yeah.
they did with the drill burr with Hydro Pump.
Right, yeah.
And
Which was also a Pokemon you can legally
Which-
get through the game.
yeah, which you legally got, and it had Hydro Pump. Like didn't do it any good. You know, it wasn't like this, but So I feel like that's like the easiest fix in the world. It's just like flipping a switch online. Like it's not a coding issue, and you don't have to worry about everyone already has all these NDDs.
Yeah. So here's a thought. If that change is to come, I would presume that it's going to come on Series 3 or Series 4 after some update. It could be 1.2, it could be something else. But
Could be home, it could be DLC, it could be Ruin Mons, like whatever. But
it'll be like on a
coming.
series change.
Yep.
Is obviously the best time. And then Play Pokemon will have to update their documentation again.
Because honestly, like, even just like Dozo, you do this quote unquote nerf, bug fix, whatever. That core is still really good. And DD Armor Rouge is still really, really strong.
It was
I
good
would argue
without it. Like
I would argue it's stronger than Hatterene and DD was last generation. Honestly, like,
Yeah, I can see that. So
Hatterene had the Gmax Smite, which was just infuriating to play against. But like, outside of the RNG factor, I'd say it's a little stronger because like fire is a very nice type to have on that. Like, and now we have Terra types, which are massive. Like, you can basically make yourself ignore Spore, just like Hat does with its ability, and you can get rid of your weaknesses and all that, and just keep blasting. Like,
there are a bunch of neat things it can do, even if Indeed doesn't have Trick Room.
Trick Room, yeah.
So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not an NDD Hat player, so I'm a little or NDD.
Sorry, Kevin.
I don't know how many.
biased.
I don't know how many times, like in Sword and Shield, I was like, man, I wish NDD had Trick Room.
And now that you have it, you're just sad.
You're not
And now that I have it, I'm not playing.
playing it. Yeah.
I thought Hat was your girl, man. You can play both. I think like Hat plus Armor Rouge is actually really good.
Yeah.
Hat, Armor Rouge, and DD, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Among Us. There you go. There's your whole team.
Well, it's like
Maybe Bonnet, yeah,
well,
that's
like I
like the
play.
most hated team ever.
Yeah. Well, it's like I play a Armor Rouge team or something, and then I see a Dondozo across, so you're like, man, I want my Dondozo back.
I think in DD Armor Rouge does really well in a Dondozo, right? Like,
Well, even if it does, I still just miss it. My big dumb fish.
We got to do something. We got to we got the Dozo Bozo shirts from the guys over at Pokesports, but we got to get you some big dumb fish thing.
There we go. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you're the merch guy. Speaking of which, if you want merch, there's a link in the link tree. There we go. That was a good little self plug. Mid roll self plug. Okay, so that's battle stuff. The other thing we have is fun functionality. I think the coolest thing is boxes actually have the functionality they should have had all along.
yeah,
It's
moving.
infuriating.
just getting us what we had in Swish, moving items.
I could not put it into words, but I was like playing, like when I was doing my playthrough back in November, I was like, why can't I can do this, right? Why can't I change moves or look at things or whatever from the box? I was so confused.
You can't select something and change boxes. I was like, oh, this is horrible. Like my boxes
You
are a
have to
mess
pull
right
them
now.
into your party and stuff.
Yeah, like my
Yeah.
boxes are a mess right now. I will not look at them because I have not even.
I stopped
gave up.
trying.
Yep.
Yeah. So now I'm excited because I get to organize my boxes. I'll be super excited for that. And then I think the other fun thing is some of the last bullets, which is other select bug fixes will be implemented. We got tired of writing bullets. We fixed more things. We don't want to tell you what they are.
Figure it out.
Thanks, Pokemon.
Yeah. From the other side
for
of
me.
that, that's either A, we think you're too dumb to understand this, or B, we actually don't have anything and we just wanted to make it sound like we have more things. So
Yeah,
We're
it's-
actually still working on things. Just hopefully we get it out before the patch goes out.
like, we're not technically lying because some code was changed that is not literally related to these, but in reality, yeah, this is it.
So we have the cynical and hopeful and
The
you're just
hopeful
dumb
version is we
options.
think you're dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other fun things, it says we are planning further features and bug fixes not listed in these patch notes. Please check back here for full details when the update data is distributed. So that is more, hey, we're just holding stuff back. So people online have been like, oh my gosh, it's DLC, or oh my gosh, it's home, or oh my gosh, it's Hisuian, or whatever. Right? There's options there. We'll see when it comes out.
I'm gonna record that little bit of the episode and make that my ringtone.
It should be. That's gonna.
Oh my gosh!
I'll make it a short.
Repeatedly.
I need that for my alarm to wake me up in the morning.
Oh my gosh. And then update contents and details are subject to change. So none of it matters.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Subject to change.
It's cool. It's cool.
That's patch notes. We're getting them at the very least. Changes are a coming.
To start.
So it's a start. I mean, it's the third patch we've had,
Yeah.
which isn't like that's pretty good. I mean, it's not good we needed it, but it's good we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least.
We're past the days of, a finished game coming out anyway. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's all games in general. They never get them finished in time.
But I am like everyone's right. It should have been this way from the beginning, but I am really happy that we're finally
Yes.
Nintendo is saying yes, we will fix things after the fact. Like
Yep.
they're swallowing their pride on that one. It really seemed like something they wouldn't do in principle.
I mean, even
it's
back in like the
Nintendo.
3DS
Yeah.
era, they could patch games and they just didn't.
yeah, because
right,
that's Nintendo. Yeah, I feel like that's
correct.
what they do. Well, like, yeah,
Because
this
they
is
did
good.
DLC. You could like Smash on 3DS is still like a fever dream. I can't believe they did that, but like all the same DLC characters were there. So I mean, and you could get them like by download. So you could definitely patch games on it. They just chose not to.
They deliberately chose not to. So,
Yeah.
patches are coming.
OCIC time.
I was gonna say choose your own adventure, OCIC or Pokemon Day. Let's do OCIC.
Yeah, it's the
what
most
they're
straightforward. Pokemon Day is all
Important thing.
speculation.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So OCIC
I
was
love.
last weekend over in Melbourne, Australia.
Australia.
I almost said another place.
I'm really interested to see like where your brain briefly thought Melbourne was.
Oh no, Melbourne, Florida is like a town right next to me.
Okay.
Melbourne, Australia, crikey, was where OCIC was this past weekend. We had a bunch of cool things. I've not watched any of the streams, and I am sad at myself for that, but I was on a boat, so there's that.
Yeah, I watched them. I didn't watch the streams. I watched the VODs. I just can't handle the downtime watching live.
Oh, sure.
yeah,
That's whatever. Either way.
But yeah,
Sometimes-
no,
I'll
they
turn it
were
on
they were
live sometimes.
really cool games and really interesting teams. Like I was expecting a lot of repeats of Orlando, like maybe minus Wolfie's thing, just because Parish is hard.
It's hard.
But no, I mean I'd love to go over at least these top 8 with y'all, or your highlights from the top 8. It's all on Victory Road.
Yep.
Yeah, very very cool stuff. I'd say so of course Pelipper won, which is validating. It's still good. Pelipper's still good, although I think Gavin made the correct call with Sash. I was trying to still run the old bulky Pelippers from Series 1, and it's just it can't live things. It doesn't matter how you EV it, it's going to die,
Yeah.
right? So just the Sash and trying to get some real damage out of it is definitely the play. But I think I'm obviously biased in this, but to me, the big breakout star of all this was Dragonite. Like, it was in a ton of the top 8 teams, and
There's a lot
beyond
of
that,
Dragonite. A lot of Dragonite.
1, 2, 3,
Three top 8.
3 in top 8, yeah, and I think there were more if you go down further into
Oh, yeah.
Top Cut in day 2. What's interesting about this is you see like real meta development on this one. At first, everybody just thought, okay, Terra Normal, Extreme Speed, didn't matter about what the item was. Like there was Choice Band, there was AV, but everybody was all about getting that big Extreme Speed damage down. Now people have realized that, wow, I can do Terra Flying, Terra Blast, and if you have Super Stab on an attack off of a base 134 Mon who can't be intimidated or who takes half damage, like that's actually nuts. That is unreasonable damage, and it's kind of hard to get good flying damage. Like you only have a handful of choices in the meta. Like Talonflame is really weak, so like you have that Brave Bird and it does stuff, but not that much stuff.
You have
And
Brave
then-
Bird for like a turn, because as
Yeah.
soon as you do that, Talonflame's going down to something.
Yeah.
And then I mean, what else is there? There's
Roaring Moon.
Terra Acrobatics
Roaring
on
Acrobatics,
Moon,
yep.
and that requires you to use your Terra to make it
Any sort of good.
reasonably powerful. So yeah, I don't know, like it
To
it
be
serves
fair,
a real
this
niche now.
Terra Blast also requires Terra to make it powerful.
But
so.
it's not nearly as strong. Like it's a lot stronger than the acrobatics
yes,
Yeah.
it is.
because of the super stab, because of the higher base attack, and the fact that most people run adamant on this Dragonite, whereas most people are running Jolly on their moons,
Good point.
and it's really tanky. I've been running it next to Friendguard Mousehold with an AV on the Dragonite. It is unreal the things you live. Like
Yeah.
I have.
You're
I
running
just,
AV on your Dragonite.
yeah, because it's strong enough. Like Terra.
Are you doing multi-scale too, or
Just on inner focus.
focus.
But the thing is that I have Mousehold. So
Yeah.
Friendguard
Yes.
and AV I face tank freeze dries. It's actually unreal. Like,
Really?
yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Wow.
And like you're still strong enough. You still Oko flutter mains easily. Like you still like all the flying weaknesses still go down to it, and you just chunk everything, and then whatever you have in the back can clean up.
That's a fair point.
That's not how everyone runs it, mind you. And I think there were one or two Terra normal ones still. Like the E-speed is still like a very major threat that you have to account for. But it's I would argue it's not the primary meta choice anymore.
I was gonna say I might try that on my team with an AV, but then I'm like, wait a
definitely
second.
good to experiment with your team 2 days before.
I've been I felt okay. So 24 hours ago, I felt terrible about my team. I talked to you and Pierre earlier today, did some sets, and then I'm like, I feel much better about my team. That might change in an hour.
That is the cycle. You feel great, then you have like 4 bad ladder games, and you're like, I hate everything about this. I'm starting over.
Yeah, I'm happy right now.
I've been playing like all sorts of different archetypes, and so I like one of my testing accounts just fell into like low elo crazy stuff where no one accepts open team sheets anymore. It's so hard to get like a good feel for something because I'm like, I'm never gonna see this.
Right.
Like I've seen some wild stuff.
It's hard for sure. Back on the OCIC stuff though.
Yes.
So 2 things I want to bring up. First is Bax Caliber on Gavin Michaels' championship team.
Yes.
I think that's really cool. I didn't know that like Bax was obviously on G-Sock Lee's San Diego winning team, so this is the second regional championship this thing has picked up already.
But a completely different set.
Completely different set, completely different meta. Yeah, he chose to forego the loaded dice and go with Dragon Fang to boost up the Glaive Rush is already incredibly powerful.
Right.
And then just went with the RNG of Icicle Crash over Spear with the loaded dice. That I wouldn't personally run that, but obviously Gavin Michaels knows better than I do.
And the Poison Terra too.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, right? Because you resist the fighting weakness, which is really prevalent now with Great Tusk is super represented. So yeah, being able to resist that close combat is huge.
And the fairy.
Although,
and fairy attacks.
and the fairy, exactly. Although Great Tusk also long rush you. So.
Yeah.
But Great Tusk is weak to your ice attacks, right? So if you can get that Terra to surprise them even once, then you break their sash, and then you just win with priority ice shards. So it's not bad in either of them. The other like kind of star of the show I thought was on the second place team, Alberto Lara's team, was the Klefki.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Klefkis after this weekend.
Yeah, I bet you because it doesn't instantly go down to a lot of the big threats like let's say. Bundle can Hydro Pump Talonflame, although Talonflame isn't really the comparable one. It's more Grimmsnarl, who has the fairy weakness, and Fluttermane is everywhere now. So you don't have to burn your Terra to... Yeah, and Goldingo. True, exactly. Yeah, so you don't have to burn your Terra just to live an attack from these very common attackers.
Let's see,
it makes sense.
And you still get screens, you still get T-Wave.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a Grimmsnarl though, like as far as its attacks and everything. That's going. You got Thunder Wave.
Klefki gets Rain Dance, so I can replace Sableye with it.
Screens.
Yeah, it's screen.
Screens.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing. I guess the big difference between it and like a Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is like actually doing something with Spirit Break.
Yeah,
Dazzling Gleam.
120 attack.
Yeah, Dazzling Gleam is there to like break sashes. Like
pretty much.
Like it's just so if you get taunted, you can do something. Like
yeah, but I mean, I get like that's steel fairy typing. It's back from back from Zacian, right? It's
that's the best
typing in the game, most likely.
Yeah.
If not the best typing combination, then like
which
top
is so sad.
They
just did Tinkaton so wrong.
They did Tinkaton bad
stats. Like
yes, they did.
You said to give it like
going to be cool. No.
You could have given it just one good stat. That's all it needed. One good relevant stat, either like HP, attack, something.
Yeah.
Defense, like it needs something just up there to.
So the other thing was just the absolute. My eyes glaze over them at this point because they're so common, but I think that is a story in and of itself. Is Fluttermane and Bundle are just meta-defining mons at this one. Arcanine too, yeah, which is like I knew Intimidate was going to come back, but I didn't actually think it would be Arcanine. I assumed it'd be one of the bulls, and it's not.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and Iron Hands too is way up there.
Iron Hand. I mean, I said it in previous episodes. I think Iron Hands is the best Paradox mon. It just lives things that nothing should live.
Yes.
You know, like especially with the AV.
It's insanely bulky. Like just its base stats are out of this world.
Like you can burn it and then it's not doing a ton of damage, but then it's still just the most absurd sponge ever. It's like, okay, you've burned my Iron Hands. I'm just gonna swap it into every attack that I'm afraid of until you finally kill it and let my other slot.
It's similar. It's like a baby Kali Ice as far as like its stat distribution. How it's like, it's pretty optimized as far as like HP, attack, defenses.
Yes.
And fighting electric is actually a really good offensive. Like
you hit a lot.
It's like a lot of mons go flying to cover their fighting weaknesses, and guess who you're now still weak to?
Yep.
Right.
I was looking at the conversion rates of the tournament too.
Win rates per mon.
Yeah, so like the day 2 mons, you got Dragonite at, actually the best one was Volcarona, had the highest at 23.5%. Dragonite had 23.3, and then Mousehold had 21.1. That was the big.
I'm running all 3 of those.
Yeah, that's a good 3 to run. Glamora had 15.8.
Glamora's really, Glamora is carried by Emilio loving the thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And this is
Yes.
I was Emilio at this one or no? I just know that.
No, I don't think he was.
I don't think he was. But like prior to this one, they were like literally 30-0 or something in regional Swiss sets, which is just unreal. Like I don't know.
It had a high day 2 conversion rate, but it didn't make top cut.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the thing is way better than people give it credit for. I think people just because toxic spikes, people just, and myself included,
it's very similar to what's that Ultra Beast with the same typing?
Oh, Nihilego?
Yeah, Nihilego. It's very similar to Nihilego.
Well, it's more powerful than Nihilego, which is nuts.
That's insane.
It's not as frail as Nihilego, at least on the physical side. And the toxic spikes are like, yes, okay, like no one wants to waste a turn setting spikes in VGC, but you don't have to waste a turn. You're just going to get bonked by something, and then you will set them for free.
I don't know how many games I will just ignore it though, just because I do not want to set those spikes and they come in on spikes.
I hope you feel okay ignoring them on with base 130 special attack that's the most commonly runs choice specs.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, like I mean, everybody has the counters for it. It's 4 times weak to ground. Like it generally terra grasses, so like the bundle Tusk Core handles it really well. But like it's off the field. Once it dies, that's not the end of it, right? Like you're and it's making me realize how powerful like the toxic, badly poisoned mechanic is, because it deals more damage to you every turn. It's not it's not just you do the same amount. Like it exponentially goes up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we don't have anybody sitting there like bulldoze. Like, all right, so here's the strat.
Can you self set your own spikes with it? Can you
I didn't think about
damage
that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could.
That'd be okay, so if you can, that'd be great, because then you could like bulldoze to get the physical hit to set spikes. Do that a couple times and then have whatever is bulldozing hopefully gets like roar or whirlwind too, so you can go full singles. Through. Yeah, go full singles.
That's disgusting.
The Smogon strats, yeah. And I mean, you can terra grass it so that bulldoze doesn't
annihilate it. See?
Yeah. We've unlocked
we're theory crafting on stream, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth checking out, but now I want to figure it out myself.
But yeah, to what you were saying before, support Mousehold is definitely having a massive resurgence. Yeah. I was of the opinion that it wasn't worth it if you weren't next to an Annihilate, and we had one Mouse 8 player. I cannot pronounce Thomas's last name because it appears to be French, and that is not what I'm capable of. But Thomas ran the Mouse 8, but the other 2 players, Colin Heyer and Raghav, they both brought support Mousehold with no ape next to it. And I'm doing the same. Friend Guard Follow Me is still really good. Like it was great on Clefairy, and I don't think Mousehold is as bulky as Eviolite Clefairy. I would have to check those numbers. I'm pretty sure Eviolite Clefairy does a little more.
Maybe a little bit more, but it's got more HP than Clefairy. So I mean, it's similar.
That's
it's because there's 4 of them.
Yeah, It may even out to some degree, but I mean, Super Fang is actually really, really, really nice. It's the same as Nature's Madness, just as 50%. But because Mousehold is pretty speedy, you get like, okay, you have the support mon that's keeping your side mon safe, and it also has the option to just cut anything's HP in half so that your slower side mon can kill it.
It's really nice for things like Iron Hands.
Iron
That
Hands,
just has
yes.
a ton of HP.
or
Dondozo.
Yep.
That just has a ton of HP and defense.
Garganacle. Garganical. Granted, those go Terraghost sometimes, so then you can't handle it. But like all the same,
I've seen
Give
I've
your
done that.
mouse holder ring target.
There you go. I was playing with calcs on that thing too. Like as far as its bulk, it can actually get way bulkier than like you would expect. Like looking at its stats, because you don't have to be fully invested in special defense, and you can live a helping hand, expanded force, and psychic terrain.
Yep.
Like
it is a reasonably large part of my size spam matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like that, it shouldn't live a helping hand, life orb, expanding force from an Armor Rouge. Like
It should not.
That's
but it
baffling.
does.
Okay.
and it,
I mean,
like,
to be fair, it's spread, right? Like,
yeah, but still,
I could argue
it's
that helping hand expanding force shouldn't exist in the first place. So
helping hand expanding force like dominated a Dynamax where you doubled HP. You could
Yeah.
take out
Yeah.
things with double the HP. Like it's a heck of a move. And then one of the crazy things too I've thought about with Mousehold is like it's not even exports. It's because it's got 2 signature moves, and that other signature move is crazy too. It's a like strictly better Dragon Dance. The tidy up.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
So if you ever have an issue with substitute, start tidying them up.
Start tidying them up. 'Cause
That's gonna
that cleans up everything off the field, right?
yes.
Ties up and
I think
removes all
hazards
sticky
too.
spikes,
Does that
stealth,
remove
sticky
terrain?
web?
I
No.
don't think it moves terrain, just hazards and
okay. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that would get rid of my need for Ice Spinner, but yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, that would have been.
Spikes, stealth rock, sticky web, toxic spike, substitute, and also boost the user's attack and speed.
It's more of a singles thing, but
Sure.
definitely
yeah. But this is very cool because we all got kind of blinded by how good Pop Bomb was for a while. I mean, that does
Oh,
not say
I
it's
still
not
love. I still
great.
love.
It's still
Population
really
Buff's still so fun just to hit somebody. Like, but then like I don't know if you're I guess the inner gambler. It's like okay, come on, hit it. Like
I mean, that's just the whole game, right? I'm running
That's
Heat
true.
Wave this tournament. I might really kick myself for that later, but so it'll be.
That's be rough. I think my only currently my only non 100% move is Hydro Pump.
Yeah, same. Well, no, not same. I have Heat Wave, I have that, and I have Super Fang, which is a fantastic move, but it's also 90% accurate, which can be heartbreaking.
feels bad.
It
Play
is
rough.
genuinely.
It's like play rough.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not 100%. Yeah,
It's genuinely the difference between winning and losing a lot
Yeah.
of the time. 50% of something's HP, right? It's absolutely
Yeah,
massive.
that's fair.
Nature's Madness is the same way though. It's like 90, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you get Goldango set up to +2. You Super Fang the first mon while you're setting up. You Super Fang the second mon the next turn, and then +2 gold Make It Rain gets the double KO, and goodbye.
What a good strat. All next to Friend Guard. Yep.
All next to Friend Guard, yeah, so
Yeah.
you can live.
And Goldingo could get
Stop
insanely
making me
bulky.
want to change my change my team to have.
I don't even feel like I'm giving anything away because this was like Kyle Livinghouse and someone at
Yeah.
OCIC ran exactly the same team too. I don't think they made top 8, but I was watching them a lot during it. Yeah. Who was it? Here's the full. Here's Day 2 Swiss. Aurelian was running exactly the same team as Livinghouse did. I think they just took it verbatim because it looks like it's exactly the same sets too.
Who?
Aurelian.
It came in at 11th.
Sula. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, those are literally my sets. Like it.
Yeah, and Baby Doll Eyes is nice too. The priority is
It's so nice because you can then be like, okay, I have Friend Guard set up, and instead of redirecting something into myself and dying, I'm just going to weaken you. So -1 in addition to Friend Guard, in addition to running bulky sets, means that like I'm gonna set up in your face and not actually care about you.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super cool. I actually love this whole thing about open team sheets. It's like I don't even have to keep anything under wraps at all. It's like I
Yeah,
have nothing
yeah,
to do.
that's
I'm
it
going to
is
show
nice.
you as soon as we sit down anyway. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, like I mean, you're not spilling your full EV spreads or nothing.
Right.
And even then, though, like you can still know stuff, and it doesn't even fully change. Maybe knowing some speed, some
Yeah.
odd speed tiers, maybe or something. But for the most part, even that doesn't make the biggest difference. Knowing, but
Sure.
not having open team sheets would be absolutely horrible playing in a tournament. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine seeing an Armor Rouge in no open team sheets in this generation?
No.
Like, no,
The
I'd
weak
see
armor stuff would be very much realer.
I hate it. I hate it. It drives me insane.
I think I saw two. I saw at least two Armor Rouge Indeedis at Orlando, and they were both the standard flash fires. Like you don't risk this stuff, but like
No.
that cheese would be so viable without open sheets.
It would.
I think I would be willing to accept it for if it was just Terra types. Like that would be fine.
Sure.
Like it really is Terra that like truly makes closed, like fully closed, just not worth playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so glad that we get the sets. Like,
Yeah. It's worse than like playing, guess where the weakness policy is, Dynamax. It's way worse because you know where the weakness policy is for the most part when you're Dynamax. Like you could tell.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else on the OCIC top cut or day 2 list that y'all want to talk about, or should we get on to Pokemon Day speculation?
Let's go to Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, real quick shout out. A Pavilion made day 2.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Was
All
it?
right, anyway,
Was it
moving on.
Compound Eyes or was it Friendguard? Friendguard. Yeah.
Friendguard, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I was
People are
running that
realizing
like
how good Friendguard is.
I was running that pre-season 1, pretty much something just like that.
It's actually double Friendguard. They had the Friendguard mouse and the Friendguard Pavilion.
Wow.
That'll do it.
And a bulky substitute Fluttermane. That's pretty evil. I like it.
So,
Pokemon.
Pokemon Day speculations. What are we gonna have? DLC.
DLC 100%. Right? Like
Yeah.
how much information we get about it and the release date is obviously completely up in the air unless
Right.
you have some inside sources. Cough, please message me. But like I think at the very least we are getting an announcement. Like at the low end it'll be like Metroid Prime 3, here is the title card.
Yeah.
The
Or not
title of the DLC.
Or like-
Yeah.
Like Zelda, like the new
We may
Breath of
not
the-
even get we may not even get the actual title. Yeah, Zelda did that. Like we knew we were getting Breath of the Wild 2 when we saw like a 10-second post-apocalyptic Zelda being sad in the dark kind of thing, but like we didn't even get the name of it until recently. So it could be like literally that little, and if that's the case, then they've barely started working on it. But I think we're gonna get a release date. I think it'll be this year. I would guess late in the year though.
Yeah, probably.
Like at least 6 months
Think
post
so?
the launch of SV. Yeah.
6 months is not that far away.
Yeah, it would be like June, July. Kind of range.
Okay. I was about to say, but maybe like June or something. Because that's
Yeah,
when
sorry,
Isle
six
of
months
Armor-
from when they launched.
Yeah.
Scarlet and
Okay,
Violet,
yeah.
or like since or into the
Yeah,
year.
because that's
anyway.
when Isle of Armor dropped, I think, wasn't it? It's about
Yeah.
June.
About that range.
So that sounds right for when DLC dropped.
Now that they've really got a handle on how to do DLC, I don't want to get my expectations up too high, but I feel like they have to do more than just here's a new region, run around in it.
I mean, that corner of the map, right? It's gonna be something, but
Yeah.
does
There's
it?
a lot of speculation about it being Kalos, right? Like there's a lot. I won't go
Yeah.
into specifics or spoilers or anything, but like data mine stuff like points to like some kind of reference to Kalos at least, if not actually
I don't
that.
think I knew that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine though DLC being like big enough to be like a new region.
I don't.
you know?
I don't think it'll literally be like like a stripped down version of it, like Gold and Silver had or anything. But I think it might be like the outskirts of it, or like one, or like a part of it, or something along those
Maybe.
lines.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
you
it's.
ha-
I think it's gonna be new.
You think it'll be just totally new region?
Something completely not Kalos. That's my theory.
The reason
I'd be
people are
happy
push-
if it was Kalos.
Yeah,
though. Don't get me
like,
wrong.
because I think the Kalos starters were the only ones that actually like,
That's
the only
right.
complete trio that's in the game data right now.
That's right.
Till
I don't know.
Incineroar does a elbow off the top rope there onto
Right, yeah.
Scarlet and Violet says no.
I think we'll eventually get a lot, like most of the starters, but for now, it looks like those three are next, and we're getting Histui stuff too. Like,
Yep.
home integration is going to be something that we might hear about it.
Probably
at Pokemon Day
Series
as well. I would
3.
hope so.
It could be.
I
home.
don't know. I imagine we might get details on the next series, but I don't know if we'll.
I don't know if
They said early 2023 for home integration. Did they say spring or early?
I think early.
Just
Yeah,
early.
We're
in early
quickly
2023.
we're quickly exiting early. I feel like, but I guess that's completely
But
subjective.
I feel like
so
that's
you can
a
say
good
whatever you want.
Pokemon Day because I think that's also
Yeah.
like following like the Sword and Shield, how they did that. I think that also
we got
was,
Blastoise and Venusaur to start with, and then
yeah,
moved into the full DLC.
and I think home integration was about Pokemon Day time when
Yeah,
they did
it was
too.
literally the same timeline.
Yeah, so like I would expect that personally.
Yeah, which about lines up, right? It's like if we have 2 months of Series 2, that means February and March, and then the new stuff starts in April. And if that is like if the new stuff is the next series, that would be unsurprising but awesome. I'd be super down for that.
Yeah, I'd rather them like we get stuff from home than like the Ruinous Mons because I do not want to play with those things again. I play with those. We played with them in the
love them.
preseason. I don't want to play with those for right now though. Like,
How can you be pro Incineroar and anti those? Like they're
because
like,
Incineroar slows things down. You
I
know,
want to have fun with this. I don't. Anyway, yeah. I think they're. I think those will be the last thing before restricteds, maybe unclear.
yeah,
Like,
I hope so.
Because the DLC brings in a lot of really powerful mons too, right? Like they could do them both at the same time for all we know. I was expecting them to hold Paradox close to their chest for a lot longer. Like my initial guess was like, okay, Series 1 is going to be Series 1, and then Series 2 will be Series 1 plus Charizard and Cinderace or something, right?
Yeah.
And like really milk this until we have the DLC ready. Like the fact that they were just zoomed into Paradox mons immediately makes me think that they are maybe moving at a faster pace than we were hoping for.
Yeah, I'm just wondering though if they're gonna add the sub legends in, like if they'll make them legal with the DLC or DLC or home integration too.
Because you can't hold off on the Ruinous Mons, who like they have really powerful abilities. They're amazing, like super, like borderline broken, like a lot of things are. But you can't do that and then have like other sub legends from DLC.
Yeah, you can't have Landorus.
Right?
You know,
Yeah, if you bring in Landorus and Zapdos and all that stuff, and then be like, no, still no Chen Pao for you. That's weird to me.
Yeah, that's so. But I would think they'd be able to hold off on those because I mean, again, that's something that they did with Sword and Shield. Like they held off on the we got the DLC, and all these legends and stuff, but you couldn't use them. Well, actually, you could use the sword. You could use the Swords of Justice. Remember though, you could use those.
Yeah. I mean, there was no sub legend bans at all in Gen 8. I mean, you could use anything that wasn't
because that was
like right
because
from
that was the second DLC when we got all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Crown Tundra kind of like synced up with restricted formats. We got one series of no restricted mons but sub legends, and then we moved straight into restricteds, which was why series apparently in the past they have also banned Tapu, so this isn't like that crazy. But to me it was weird because I had never seen them make any distinction between sub legends and regular mons. I still think it's kind of odd, honestly, because like pseudo legends have better base stat totals than a lot of these sub legends do, and we're allowed to have Dragonite and Excalibur, but we're not allowed to have like the equivalent of Zapdos, right? Like it's odd
because their abilities are too good.
Landorus is a thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I say my big prediction though is we finally hear about Pokemon Sleep.
I was gonna mention Sleep. I think it's dead.
It's been so long. I guess I've
been waiting like 4 years.
What is this? What is Pokemon? I realize that it's a meme.
I don't think we know. That's the thing. Like,
and
I think
that's what I just want to know. Yeah, they just showed the name. They were like coming up, Pokemon Sleep. And you're like,
yeah, but there's
what
no
is
details on
Pokemon
it.
Sleep? Like, and then
you
nothing.
train your Pokemon by sleeping. You have a drowsy that watches you sleep. Yeah, what is supposed to be?
I need to know. I've waited 4 years for this.
Nope, it's dead. It was a thought.
It sounds dead. I'll be real with you.
It was a thought they had years ago, and
I just love they've never even addressed it since. Like they said it like for the whole world to hear, and they're like, nope.
That's why it's
That's
dead.
the way you do it, though, because it's like anyone outside of our weird corner of the internet has forgotten years ago. They were talking about it during COVID.
That's
what I
true.
remember. So like,
didn't it come out with like the same time as something like Pokemon? Wasn't there like a toothbrushing thing too?
The Pokemon Smile. That
actually came out.
That
did come out. Pokemon Smile. I was gonna say Pokemon Brush, and I was like, that's not right. Pokemon Smile, a video game. Sure. Whatever. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath for sleep, but I think it's dead.
That's my. I will be so happy.
We'll also get anime stuff.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna be.
I mean, I don't follow the anime, but it looks like they might be like bookending Ash, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, the Paldea anime will star 2 new people who have names that I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
there it is, and that's probably why they never got rid of Ash for so long. Is you don't need to learn any name.
That's true.
Same one from when you were a kid. But in terms of other games, like, okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that can come to Scarlet and Violet, and hopefully will. But I feel like we saw like kind of a new stance in terms of Pokemon main series games with Arceus last gen, right? And that they insisted that it was a main series game, and like the stuff you catch there can be transferred to other gens eventually when home is there.
Yep.
Like we already know that's coming. Ursaring is eligible for Eviolite right now, so we know Ursaluna and friends are coming. So do we think that they're gonna like make another similar game? It doesn't have to literally be another Legends game, but like do we think there's gonna be like other off formula, like this doesn't have to fit into the main series
Or your
archetype of games? Like
We'll
it can
get
just be something different.
We'll get a title card.
You think so? They're gonna make more of those?
Of something.
yeah. We'll
There'll
have
be
one
some
next year.
spin-off.
We'll have one
Could see it like January of next year.
Yeah, January or holiday season.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a yearly game kind of in between, generations.
Maybe, yeah, sure. But we had, what was it? Sword and Shield came out in 2019.
2019, yeah.
2020 was nothing. DLC.
It was DLC, yeah.
2021 was BDSP.
Yeah, 21 was BDSP at the end.
And then 22 was Arceus
at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
Okay.
Scarlet and Violet was 22 at the end.
So
yeah,
we're almost on that
Yeah,
cadence. But
we
I don't,
had a little gap in the middle there. But yeah, there's Unite as well somewhere in the middle of that too.
Unite was 20.
Yeah, and I mean, even though we don't play Unite, like it was a really big release. Like,
Yeah, and then it's still going
I was
strong,
playing
too,
it for
right?
a minute. Like they're kind of in the go stage where they're just milking the people who are left, but they're milking them really well.
It was not set up for success. They kind of did. That's like how you don't do
An esport, yeah.
An
Yeah,
esport
like-
MOBA game.
because it was a money grab.
Sure.
Is how they ran it. Instead of
It was
trying
a
to
money
run-
grab that everybody wanted to be an esport,
Yes,
and so
Yeah.
they tried their absolute best to
like they
force
could
it into
they
that.
could have tried, like if you just made a League clone with Pokemon skins, they would have been fine. But but the whole grind to get
Yeah.
the emblem,
Yeah.
like they started adding
The
all
emblems
these
are
things.
really bad. Yeah, I mean,
They-
I think that the casual part of Unite is perfectly fine. Like that's awesome because just it being shorter makes it so much more fun to play and so much more
Yeah.
accessible. But
Yep.
yeah, the grinding you have to do just to have a fully functional character is
Yeah, that's too much. It's too much for that. Like
Yeah.
even you can have short games and people are going to play it still and not try to like drain their pockets.
Right.
Like drain my pockets if I want to buy a skin because I got really good at this one character. Like then
But
try
not-
to drain my
not for
pocket with
functional
skins.
things.
Yeah, not for
things that change numbers.
actual gameplay and
Yes.
like things you need to be competitive.
Yep. I agree with that.
Oh man, I was just kind of looking. I was curious about some of these Hisuian. Have you looked at how some of these moves
have
translate? Dire Claw,
yeah, 50% chance for a random status.
stupid.
Oh my gosh.
if
I
you
actually hate
if
that.
you team
no.
RNG, like
It's simultaneously so high and so low.
Yeah.
oh
You know,
my
like,
god,
it's one of those
It's
things that you-
almost
but-
it's almost right in the middle.
but a 50%,
No,
a 50%
no,
chance
no.
It means
for
that
sleep,
it's
poison,
going to be one of
paralysis.
those things that always
No.
works for your opponent and never works.
It never works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the 50%. It's on the other side of the table.
That's stupid. Like why? That is the stupidest move.
Yeah, there's that. Like Rock
That's
Dead
all-
Arcanine
that-
is actually
this-
going to be really strong.
This is a whole episode we're spoiling.
Oh yeah, no.
When we get
we'll-
Hisuian details.
We'll go into these in depth when we have the actual news about when they're
Yes,
coming.
the next
yeah,
the series. But I'm looking forward to and also dreading.
it'll be fun because at the end of the day, their base stat totals, apart from the bear,
Yeah.
aren't that crazy high.
Right.
So I think they will be balance is a fun
it
word.
mirrors
New
their
spice to the
counterparts.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Yes.
And like Weavile has done things, but it's never been a massive VGC player before, so I don't see it being like meta defining. But they will do things for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm-
they can do things.
Yeah.
Which that's also kind of things like I hope for Series 3 here, we get home integration here at Pokemon Day. Like they'll probably be like, now you can transfer things from home, and then you can start bringing your stuff over, and then Series 3 will be like Hisui
When
Mons.
actually, yeah.
You get your Charizard. That also look at
Mighty is Mark.
look at the calcs for a Terrifier
No,
Charizard
no.
in the sun. Like it is absolutely it's your Wave Crash. It's your sun
Yeah.
counterpart to your Wave Crash. It
is.
OHKOs everything. So
That'd be fun.
And you don't need to swap it out beforehand. Yeah.
yeah, like
That's
so
true.
that thing's
It
gonna
just
be
exists.
nasty.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun things when full home integration hits VGC. We'll open up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Honestly,
Black and white.
Oh, you think we
Yeah.
can get black and white? It's too soon.
Gen
I
5
think,
remakes?
I think it's too soon, but that's
You
an
think
option.
We may get announcements. I think that's 2024.
Yeah, I think that'll
Probably.
be that. I think that'll be the next year's game that we get.
That could be true.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
honestly
you
is
know
kind
what,
of it for my predictions.
I
There's
think-
so much it could be.
I'm definitely on the train though, thinking how you were going with that is they're gonna follow Sword and Shield's model. I think that is what we should expect. We'll get DLCs
Probably.
this year. You'll pay for your DLC. That's how they get their money this year. You'll get the second DLC at the beginning of the year, and then they'll drop.
You think it'll be 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get 2. I'm sure they made enough money off of Crown Tundra that they're like, okay, yeah, let's do a second DLC.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then you'll get a game after that, another game, and then the next mainline game.
We'll see. We'll talk about it next week when we actually have the the direct look at.
The information's.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So we can revisit all of our predictions then. All right. Is that an episode?
It is an episode.
Sounds like it.
Cool. I have to go edit this. I'm already very tired today. I came home. made
Don't
myself a
edit, just
latte.
send. Just send it. Just
Dangerous. It's not that hard. It's more of the time tediousness. But I got home, made myself a latte. Been drinking a soda. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Inject it directly into your
But I
veins.
will be tired.
That's how I do my caffeine.
All right. I'd like to go ahead and say thank you to RobKTA and Game Chops for our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner, off of the Ultraball album. Got it in 1 this week. I'm so proud of me.
I'm proud of you too.
I have been Harrison. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Rowixon. One day I'll stream. One day I'll get back to it. I've become the new Sheldon.
I'm back to my old ways now. I've been too busy and
Life finds a way
Life,
to really
it-
step in the way of
does.
this stuff.
it does.
So, and I have been joined by.
Rowan, you can find me on YouTube as Rowan Hall, Twitter Rowan W Hall. YouTube content. At this point, I've just decided I'm just going to do 1 per regional I go to until I'm done
That
attending
works.
them for a while, and then I'll do fun ones again. I'm kind of looking forward to fun ones, but yeah, last video was some ladder battles with my Orlando team. Next one I've already recorded will be ones from Knoxville, and then we got Charlotte. So yeah, look forward to that. And
Oh, you've already recorded for that?
yeah.
Nice. Fair enough.
Smart. And this is Sheldon. Find me on Twitter at Captain_Yanova and Twitch at Captain Yanova, and you can find me in Knoxville this weekend.
Oh yeah, you can find us all at Knoxville, of course. So come say hi if you see us.
I'll be wearing a
That'd be
hat at
great.
least.
We got hats and shirts and business cards, so find us. It'll be great. But we have been the Game Corner. You can find us on Twitter at Game Corner VGC. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify and Google Podcasts. I can say that one now because I did add us to that. All of our stuff is in the link tree down below. All of the Game Corner stuff, all of each of our individual things. Rowan's app is still there.
Oh, yeah.
All this fun stuff. It's all there. Look forward to it. Patreon, if you want to join that and support, that'd be great. We'd appreciate it. And of course, most importantly, join us in Discord. Let's grow that community. It's a fun place to practice sets for, Knoxville, for Charlotte, for NAIC, all the stuff coming up. But yeah, I think that's it. So until next time, post Knoxville and post Pokemon Day, press start and game on. Bye. That was almost shorter.
That was over an hour. So
No. The outro.
Yeah.
You complained about that last time.
Oh, actually, no. That's great. That was you went straight to it.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
I didn't stumble in my head like I normally do. I'm not looking forward to Knoxville.
You're not looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to being there and seeing people, and the three of us are going to be together. That's wild. But the whole competing thing. Whoops.
Just have fun with it, man. I have no expectations.
I feel like I'm gonna know how it's gonna go. Like in the first 2 matches, I'll know
absolutely.
how the day's gonna go.
Absolutely.
Like after that, what's cut?
Dude,
X and 2.
X
Yeah.
and 2. Day 2 is X and 2. Yeah. So I think.
Okay,
we're
so
only
if
9 rounds.
Yeah. So if I hit 3, as soon as I hit 3 losses, it's straight to the bar.